But, wait a second. This is wrong. There's something wrong here. Okay, if it's Wi-Fi causing these things to cut out, look, I've got this badass little, it's just a thing I made this morning. But anyway, if Wi-Fi is causing these things to cut out, then alright, so I owe you guys an update on what happened with this thing. And let's see how many kilometers we've done now, because in that last episode, it was like 377, I think. And it was just after the thing happened, where I was trolleying it, and then it just cut out, like, just switched off. And I contacted the guys that sold me this, and they said the same thing that one of the commenters from the last video said. They said that it's a known issue, but it's extremely rare, and it's occurred on both the Max and the original Sherman. And what else did they say? Oh yeah, it's related to Wi-Fi. It's weird, like, I was going to look at my phone, but I'm recording with my phone. Let me try to remember what he said. Because the guy in the comment from the last video, he said it was like Wi-Fi interference. And the dude from the EUC shop said something very similar. Like, I can't remember, he used like a slightly different terminology, related to Wi-Fi anyway. But he also said that it's only occurred in shopping malls. So yeah, so what happened is, it makes sense, I guess. Well, it gives me some kind of peace of mind, actually, because now I've got some kind of an explanation, do you know what I mean? Whereas before, I had no idea. I was like, this thing could cut out at any moment. Because if it cut out while I was trolleying it, while the thing is on, the thing doesn't actually know the difference between whether you're standing on it or you're just trolleying it. I mean, it could, based on how many amps it's drawing. You know, if it's drawing really low amps, it could just assume it's being trolleyed. But as far as I know, the system doesn't look for that. So if it's rolling, like if you're trolleying with it, you're just walking in the shopping center, as far as it knows, it needs to stay balancing. Because if it just shuts off, it's going to drop the rider. So, yeah, man. We've got some kind of explanation now. It's related to, it's so weird. It's weird though, isn't it? Because what's Wi-Fi got to do with an EUC? You know, like what is it connecting to the internet while we're riding? What for? So China can keep tabs on us. Maybe it's for like user experience. I mean, like, what do you call it? User feedback, optimize the experience. You know, like Microsoft and all that want you to let them take data diagnostics so they can like improve their email or whatever. Maybe it's the same with these. Maybe we're sending data to China and they're slowly improving these things as we ride. I don't know. I have no idea, guys. But wait a second. This is wrong. There's something wrong here. Okay, if it's Wi-Fi causing these things to cut out, look, I've got this badass little, it's just a thing I made this morning. But anyway, If Wi-Fi is causing these things to cut out, then WTF is that's all I would have to say. Because what's to say it's not going to cut you out while you're riding? You could be riding along, you go past a Wi-Fi, someone's freaking internet at home, and you just cut out because their Wi-Fi was too strong. Too strong for the Sherman. It just couldn't handle the Wi-Fi. So it went to sleep. Is that what they're saying? I don't know, I guess so. Like, what are they saying? Like I said, the EUC doesn't know. Man, these buses are annoying. Look, let's zoom in with our telescopic cellular phone zoom. That's my new phone, guys. I got the telescopic zoom. But anyway, like I've said, the EUC doesn't know the difference whether you're riding or whether you're trolleying through them. How does the thing even know you're in a mall? Because he said it's only been happening in malls. How does Sherman know what you're doing at any given moment? Does Sherman have AI? It's got 2 eyes, but does it have AI? Get it? AI? An eye? 1 eye? I don't know. What am I even saying again? Yeah, how does Sherman know if you're in a mall? What? I guess Sherman doesn't like malls. Sherman developed a character. They gave him a name and now he's got friggin' phobias. Sherman fears. Sherman fears for our safety. Or maybe Sherman only cares about Sherman. I don't know. Maybe Sherman only does care about Sherman. Maybe Sherman realizes that when Sherman needs to sleep, that's what's best for Sherman. But it doesn't like the mall. Now, seriously though, let's think about this properly. It doesn't like the mole. Maybe only a certain type of Wi-Fi signal appears inside moles. Maybe they got like a special kind of super-powered router that's like giving Wi-Fi for the whole mole. And if you go too close to that thing, it cuts out. I don't know. I guess that kind of makes sense, but then again, what would happen if you rode past it? So let's say you're going 50 miles an hour past this Wi-Fi. Is Sherman going to go to sleep? Maybe not. Maybe Sherman's too hyped up in that moment and he can't go to sleep. He's just going to keep going. I hope so. But God, what's going on with these things? And we still haven't seen the kilometers. How many Ks have I done? Let's see it right now. And this is interesting for me too because I haven't seen this in a while. I'm guessing, let me guess. Look, even since I last reset the trip, I've done 145. But total, let's see. 809. All right, so I've done 809.8 kilometers. And by the way, I took the trolley handle out because it got bent when I lost balance and like dropped it. It kind of bent and that doesn't go up and down properly. So I just took it out. I'm going to buy a new one. They're not that expensive. It's very easy to replace too. I made a video on that a while ago and it's super easy anyway. But 809 kilometers. That's about 50, it's about 500 miles. Just a little bit over. And yeah, so 500 miles, there you go. You can do a 500 mile review now. But it goes to show that the Sherman is being reliable. I mean, the Max, this is the Max. Since it friggin' messed up in the mall, I've been riding it still. Like, it's funny too because I've got 3 UCs. Did I say 3 UCs? 3 EUCs is what I have now. I've got the Sherman OG, the Max, and the Kingsong 16X. So I've got a stable now. I've got some choice, right? And even though this Max let me down in the mall and got me worried, I was like, dude, is this thing gonna cut out while I'm riding? Like, I have no idea. But I still choose the Max, guys. I still, when I pick up, I mean, when I gotta, go on a trip or whatever, and I gotta choose an EUC, I just choose the Max. I go for the Max. This thing, like, oh, it's so smooth, guys. It's, like I mentioned, it's got like a slightly different sound than the OG Sherman. It sounds better. And it's a bit louder. There's a bit more motor sound. And it feels like I'm driving a freaking Ferrari. I'm not kidding. When I'm riding this thing, it just feels so quality. And I think it's a lot to do with this wider rim, because now the tire is super balanced, which is something the OG Sherman is lacking, especially mine because it's got a dented rim. So maybe it's just that. Maybe I'm going to change the rim on my OG Sherman and it's going to feel the same. I don't know. But as for now, the Max is like a Ferrari compared to my OG Sherman. The OG Sherman is like a friggin' rust bucket, literally. It's all wobbly and I guess that's it. It is rusted to the max. But yeah, this thing is just smooth. Crazy. And look, I have been scraping the pedals a little bit, but not too much. I haven't done any drifting yet though. This is just from like doing some tight turns on the road. And yeah, so what I was saying, I still choose this thing over the OG, right? Because it's so smooth and all that. Even without the trolley handle, I'm still choosing, even having to like hunch down and, like having no trolley handle is a pain in the ass, but I still choose this thing. And it's been, like I said, it's been reliable. 809 kilometers, 500 miles. And all it's done is that one thing in the mall. And I've done all my riding, all those 800 miles. It hasn't let up once, like it hasn't skipped a beat. So it's doing well. It is doing well. It's just that one hiccup in the mall. And as far as I can see, like, I'm getting more and more confident. The more miles I do, the more I start to believe in this Wi-Fi thing too. Or understand it. I don't even understand it, to be honest. I don't believe it. I don't understand it. But if I can wrap my head around that, then I'll have all my confidence back. To a degree. Then I've still got to worry, where are these Wi-Fi outlets? That I got to, could I at least get them on a map so I can avoid them? I mean, it's a bit of a joke, isn't it? It is. I don't even know what to think now. The more I analyze it now, the more bizarre it starts to seem. So, yeah, actually, we're going to end it on this note. It doesn't quite make sense. The explanations we've received don't really explain anything, because now I need an explanation to explain the explanation. I don't understand the explanation, right? So we're not there yet. We're just going to ride and we're going to pray for the best. Lucky when we ride in EUC, we've got our hands free so we can... To be honest, I don't mind that much, guys. I don't mind that much that this thing's not keeping me on my toes, because since it did that cutout in the mall, right, and I'm still riding it, it's given me a scare, but I still I entrust my life into this thing to a degree. But, what was I saying? yeah, I still trust this thing. Even though it messed up in the mole rat, even though I've lost some of the trust, I still trust it. But I'm wary. I'm thinking at any minute it could cut out. So I guess I don't really trust it 100%, but it makes me ride differently now. For one thing, I always put my full face down. I'll show what I mean. See this thing? It can go down or up, and I tend to put it down now. So it's, more often than before. It's changed my riding habits, my helmet habits a little bit. And my riding habits a bit, now I'm more weary. I'm thinking, dude, if I cut out in this corner, let's say, this could happen. I could end up here. So I'm kind of planning ahead. I'm thinking, look, if it does cut out, maybe I should ride in this manner so I can just be a little bit safer in case it does cut out. And I guess that's a good thing. I guess it's a good thing. And it's keeping my knees bent more. Because when you ride, if you ride straight-legged, you're nowhere near as safe. If you bend your knees, the more you bend them, the safer you become. It just becomes like impossible to fall off the wheel almost. And so now I bend my knees more. I accelerate with my knees bent instead of just leaning forward like Michael Jackson, basically. Coogee rolls, when you see in some of these videos, he just leans forward hard. Let's say if it cuts out when you're in that position, you're going to face plant so much harder than if you're bending your knees. Because there's two ways to accelerate. You can either, basically, you need to put your center of gravity forwards. So the wheel needs to bring you back, right? And the only way it can do that is by accelerating. So you can either lean forward, straight body, which is a dangerous way, Coogee rolls, Michael Jackson, or you can bend your knees and lean forward at the same time. But if you do that, you don't need to lean forward as much, because look what happens when you bend your knees, your body goes forward, see? Say that's your torso there. When you bend your knees, it goes forward. So just bending your knees, if you do it in a certain manner, you can accelerate really hard and be much safer. Because if it does cut out, you're not just going to go bang. You're going to just go down, straight down, so it's making me ride differently. So I guess in a way, it's not I'm not that pissed off that it happened. And I do take some comfort in the dodgy explanations I've received. At least I've got some explanation. At least I know it has happened to other Shermans, both OG and Maxes, only in moles and nowhere else. So just knowing that, I can, work out the odds that for it to cut out during a ride, it's going to be very low probability. So it does give me some comfort. Even though it's very bizarre, what kind of Wi-Fi is cutting out Shermans? Why only Shermans too? Why not Galways? Can Wi-Fi do other stuff too? Like, let's say, shut down cars, buses, trains, set things on fire? EUCs like being on fire. Should be able to set an EUC on fire. I mean, that's not hard on it, Maybe not a Sherman, but a Galway for sure. Anyone can set a Galway on fire. Just look at it wrong. Press the button wrong. You press it halfway and it gets stuck halfway and you get some sparks in there. Bang, you got a fire. I'm not kidding, guys. Be careful. Make sure you press that button all the way. It's funny though, because that's kind of a, what do you call it? Like a, not a bad habit. What do you fuck call that? Like, it's something I kind of think about in houses, whenever I turn on a light switch, I always make sure it doesn't get stuck halfway, because I know that for a fact if it does, you can create some arcing in there, little sparks. And I always thought, if you did it just right, maybe you could start a fire like that. You'd have to be so unlucky. But even that slight probability is enough for me that when I do, every time I turn on a light switch, I always make sure it's like flicked all the way down or all the way up and not stuck halfway. It's probably dumb, it's probably a waste of time for me to even bother checking, but it's just something I can't avoid, because I know, that you can make sparks by doing that. But to be honest, it's such a low probability. To even get it in that position, to get it perfectly so you're making any sparks at all, to even get it to sit halfway is hard enough, but then to get it to sit so it makes sparks is even lower probability. And then for those sparks to start a fire is even lower probability, because they're going to be tiny sparks. It's not going to create much heat, but it's possible. So just something I do. But yeah, let's wrap it up, guys. We'll see you next time. It's getting dark out here, as you can see. And sorry about the noise you've been hearing. We're here at the busway, the O-Bahn. Look at these things go. And I'm filming with my phone, guys. Not bad, huh? Not bad zoom for a phone. And steady. This thing is... I love this thing. I don't need to carry a camera anymore. But yeah, 800 Ks, 500 miles, tread's still looking good. Things have gone decent, guys, but we need an explanation. We need to figure out what this Wi-Fi is all about.